All right. Welcome to this Innovation Mindfulness group. I hope you are all well. There are a few things that I just wanted to. So I've been working um, in doing a 24 session. I called it the Awakening Awareness Program. It's 24 sessions. It involves a lecture and mindfulness activities. And it goes all the way from the basics of mindfulness, essentially from resourcing to thoughts and emotions and sensations and stuff. But it goes into a lot of detail on embryology and the cerebrospinal fluid and water. And so if you're interested in looking at it, there's some really good practices. It's getting really good reviews. It's a whole playlist. It's all for free. It's on YouTube. It's called the Awakening Awareness. But if you go onto YouTube and look up either my name or the Awakening Awareness Program, you'll find it's a playlist that includes all 24 sessions. And the sessions are divided into lectures or sort of content, kind of the lesson, and then the meditation that's associated with that lesson. And they're split. So you can listen to the lesson and then finish and then do the meditation afterwards if you choose to. It's a really good, I think it's a really good, the content is, I think it's great. I mean, I created it, so but I really think it's a good practice. And I sent it to my sister, who's a clinical psychologist, and she loved it, and she's sharing it with her patients as well, because it's really basic. It kind of gets down just to the basics of like resourcing, finding an anchor, and how that can really be beneficial for our nervous systems, and then how we can progress from there to expand our awareness and awaken our awareness. And so that's 24 sessions there. The other thing that I wanted to remind you is that Synovation Medical Group does have a YouTube channel, and that has a lot of also we have 3 sessions on mindfulness of chronic pain and 3 sessions of just an introduction to mindfulness. And if you were with us, right, these are the same sessions that we did about 9 months ago or so when we recorded, and I sent the feedback forms out to you and stuff like that. If you were part of that group, you may have remembered. Those have actually been edited and incorporated into into our Synovation YouTube channel. Occasionally we do put up videos on there, so if you're interested, subscribe and follow. I'm really happy with all of them, but if you do like any of the Awakening Awareness Program ones, it always helps to get comments in the chat, in the YouTube chat, as well as likes on that. So if you do like it, please do so. It's also a program where it's sort of evolutionary, meaning like we ask you, if you haven't sort of practiced or mastered the first 6 sessions, that you don't go on. And so it's kind of evolutionary. So it kind of progresses from there. And it progresses, and it goes all the way, like I said, to we do very detailed, we do some detailed anatomy, we do some detailed embryology, and things like that, and it gets into my work in the cerebrospinal fluid. So take a look at those if you're interested. I'd love to, get your feedback, hear what you have to say, or whatnot. All right. Today's practice is going to be one that we've done in the past before, and it's sort of we call it a fan favorite. Every time we do it, well, we get really good feedback, and there's always a request to do it more frequently, of which I probably don't do it as frequently as maybe some people would like. But it is a practice. It's actually on it's on the emotional part of mindfulness. I feel like this is probably the most basic ways of the most basic way of working with emotions, and it's really founded on powerful research on emotions. Um, I was I was with my son the other day, and he was he was ruminating about something, and I could tell he was ruminating about something, and it was causing him to kind of be a little bummed. And we were driving out to his baseball practice, and sometimes I think with kids, what I've realized with some, it might be difficult to kind of name what they're going through, right? It might be difficult. Something might be arising, and it's sort of like, oh, actually, it's hard to like vocalize it. It's hard to put a word to it or describe it, right? Like my daughter does it much better than my son can. My daughter will be like, she'll be like, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something. And this is where I'm feeling. And I'm like, oh, it's really neat, right? But it's sort of like she doesn't have the language yet to vocalize it. My son probably has the language, like the vocabulary, but doesn't actually have the ability to sort of to vocalize it, to actually state it. And so one of the things that I realized as a parent is that for him, I don't like to put I don't like to put experience into other people's experience, for instance. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't like to be like, oh, are you feeling sad? Right? I don't like to do that. I don't like to give them suggestions of what they could be feeling. That's just like I don't really talk about like, oh, you need to do this practice because these are all the fruits that you're going to get. I don't know what fruits you're going to get, right? So and I feel like sometimes that when we do that, we're sort of, it's sort of like taking away from their experience because I'm categorizing it a certain way, but that might not be a certain way. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling sad. It's like, I don't know, like, are you? Like you didn't state it beforehand and just like sad. It's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling sad. It's like, are you feeling sad? Yes, I'm feeling sad. When you ask them, like, what are you feeling? I don't know what I'm feeling. You feeling sad? Yes, that's what I'm like. Oh, well, I just put that into I just threw that out at you and you said yes. Like, could I have been saying, are you feeling like a flower? You'd have been like, yes, I'm feeling like, whatever it might be, like anything that kind of throws out. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't really like doing that. But I noticed that with my son, I kind of have to. Sometimes it's sort of like I'll start with things that are like, but what I'll do is I'll kind of start with things that are totally like off the wall. Like, like we're going to baseball practice and it's something that he really likes to do. And so I'll start with like, are you pissed that we're going to baseball practice? He'd be like, no. I'm like, okay, that makes, right? Like, are you angry that you're in the car with me and we're like snacking on chips? No, I'm not. Okay. Like, it's sort of like we're taking care of maybe the most obvious, right? Like, are you angry at your sister for waking you up this morning? No, I'm not. Are you angry at, like your baby sister for like running at you and giving you a hug? No, I'm not. Like, okay. Then, and I was just kind of throwing these things out at him. And then it kind of got to, where it's sort of like, okay, how can I help him kind of get in tune or try to vocalize some of these emotions? And it was amazing because, he was sort of like our car drive out to his baseball practice about 30 minutes. And I just started right at the beginning. It was sort of like, hey, I've been noticing something's been kind of bothering you. You want to talk about it, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, yeah, I don't really know, do you know what it is? I don't really know what it is, blah, blah, blah. And so, so I threw out these sort of things, right? Which I had a premonition of like, okay, those are totally not it, but I'm going to throw him out just to see where he's at. And then I kind of got to where I felt he was at. Anyways, as soon as we were able to localize it, to name it, to like identify it, he took a huge breath. And it was like the it was like the most amazing thing in the world. And he's just like, and he's looking outside, and it was like, even the way that he was like scanning outside the windows when we were driving was more relaxed. Like it was like more open. Like his ability to look out was clear. And I was like, how was that? He goes, wow, I was like, that was really good. I was like, look what you just did. I'm like, he's like, what did I do? I go, look, you just named it, what you were feeling. And how do you feel now after you name it? He goes, much, much better. And I go, has anything changed by and I can't remember exactly what the issue was, but I'm like, has the issue changed? He goes, no. I go, but you named it. You were able to like vocalize it, to sort of localize it, to identify it. And just by doing that, what happened? Because I feel better. I go, great. That is a huge lesson. Just pay attention to this, right? So this practice is very much based on research, and a lot of research that goes into how the brain works and how the brain processes emotions, and what are the different parts of the brain that process emotions. And we've done this, and we've talked about this, and it's recorded, and you can go back to our emotional lectures and listen to that. But it's a practice that, if you don't have a practice that really works on emotions, I do recommend that you have one, and that it's done where it's so easy for you to bring up that as an emotion arises, that you just trigger this practice, and that you don't need to be in a formal meditation session to trigger the practice. That you, as something arises, that you trigger the practice in like, it can take 5 seconds. Okay. And that's the acronym RAIN. You may have heard about this before. I highly recommend it. It was popularized by Tara Brach, who's amazing herself. She has a lot of mindfulness meditation videos, YouTubes, etc. So on the days that you're not practicing with us, you can practice with her. I've been trained by her. So I'm sort of informed by her philosophy. And I've come across many different practices on emotions, and I still feel like this is the best one. And so RAIN is an acronym. And so if you just think of the letters RAIN, R is recognize, A is allow, I is investigate, and N is nurture. All right. So what you're doing is you're recognizing the emotion, you're allowing it or accepting it, just to be present as it's arising in you in the moment. Okay. This isn't that let's say somebody did something to you and you're having an emotion of anger. The allowing isn't that you're condoning the action. But the allowing is that you're allowing yourself to have that felt sense, that emotion in that moment. Because the question would be that's what's arising, right? That's what's arising in that moment. So if you don't allow it, you're resisting it. And that's resisting the present moment. And so that's going to cause suffering. So as we allow it, we learn to investigate it. And then as we're investigating it, we learn to self-nurture. Self-nurture. A lot of people might be able to recognize something and then not self-nurture because they feel like, well, I don't know how to love myself, or I'm judging myself. Even judging yourself for having the emotion is not self-nurturing. That we need to be compassionate and kind with ourselves, right? Like, I am angry. Okay, let me see if I can just allow this to be. Okay. When we practice this in a formal meditation, as we're learning this process, as I ask you to bring in an emotion, it's probably good to start with an emotion, with maybe an event or an experience that brings up an emotion that has like a trigger of like 3 to 4 out of 10, not something that has like a trigger of 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Unless you feel very comfortable with a practice like this, that while you're practicing, to start with things like, you know, I'm still angry that the person, that the person who checked me out at the grocery store didn't give me the right change. All right, right. But not something that's like going to cause a trigger of post-traumatic stress disorder or panic, or cause panic or anything like that. So that's pretty important. So that we find something, an experience, an event that sort of brings on an emotion that's mild to moderate, not moderate to severe. Okay, and that we practice this, and as we get better, we can then integrate. We can bring on the more triggering emotions for sure, but we've done this practice, and so we feel grounded in it. And as always with any practice, if we feel like we're having a difficult time with it, things like opening your eyes, feeling your feet on the floor, reorienting yourself to your room, looking around, naming the colors of the walls, naming something that you recognize, a person, a place, a chair, is very helpful. Breathing can be very helpful. Or, if it doesn't go to that extreme, even just coming back to your anchor, and saying, okay, you know what? I've done enough of this emotional stuff. I'm coming back to my anchor. Okay. So that's what we're going to practice today. Um, um, all right. And you can see, as we do this formal practice, right, how these acronyms, you may even put these acronyms up on a piece of paper. Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. And use it on a moment to moment. As something arises, oh, recognize it. Can you allow it? Investigate it and nurture. Recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. And you can see how I'm sort of dancing with. We should make a song. Are there any musicians out there? Can we recognize it and allow it, investigate it and nurture? Not a musician, but I wish I were. All right. That'd be a good song, wouldn't it? No. Okay. So let's begin. Okay, so let's begin by finding a comfortable posture. A posture that will allow you to feel a lot relaxed yet alert. Closing your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. If not, inviting you to have a soft downward gaze. As if you were gazing off on the horizon or across the ocean. And taking a moment to take 2 or 3 deep breaths. And with each exhale, seeing if you can relax and settle into your body ever so slightly more, feeling supported by the surface you're on, allowing your body to get heavier and heavier. And if there's any areas of tension that you notice, simply bringing attention to that tension and seeing if you can relax it ever so slightly more with your intention or breath. Or adjusting your posture to help release that tension if possible. And I invite you now to begin the rain meditation, to scan or sense whatever might be going on in your life right now. And for this practice, bringing to mind a situation or circumstance that is difficult for you in this moment. Maybe bringing to mind a current situation in which you feel stuck, one that elicits a difficult reaction. Something in the realm of 3 to 4 out of 10, or whatever comes up for you that you feel comfortable with. Visualizing whatever the situation is. If it involves another person, see that person. If it involves you, see the setting you're in. Taking some moments to enter this experience. Visualizing the scene, the situation. Maybe remembering the words that were spoken. And bringing to awareness that charged essence of this experience. And now begin the practice of rain with R, recognizing. Recognize whatever is most predominant for you right now. Recognize what is happening for you in this moment. You may ask yourself, what is happening inside me? What sensations are you aware of? What emotions arise? Is your mind filled with thoughts about this experience? Simply recognizing what is here for you right now. You may choose to whisper certain words to yourself, such as worried, angry, fearful, anxious, whatever is most prominent for you. Taking a moment to become aware of this felt sense of this situation as a whole in your body, as a sensation that you can feel right now in the present moment that you're recognizing. And as you recognize what is present for you, see if your intention can be to allow. Allowing what is here for you right now with no resistance. You may whisper to yourself, yes, let it be. This belongs. Present moment. You may find yourself saying yes to a huge inner no, to a body that is contracted in resistance. You might be saying yes to the part of you that is saying, I hate this. Allow that as well. That is a totally natural part of this process. Recognizing what is here and true for you right now, and allowing it to be just as it is with no judgment or resistance. And if you can allow, even for some moments, even if it's just the intention to allow, inviting yourself to begin to investigate, opening yourself up to this investigation with a natural interest and curiosity. Investigate it with gentleness, compassion, kindness, almost like a 1 or 2 year old would look at a flower or a bumblebee for the first time. You may notice where you feel this in your body. You may be aware of a color or shape that it is associated with. You may ask yourself, what am I believing? What am I anticipating? What about this most wants my attention? And see what arises for you. And investigate that. What do you notice as a felt sense in your body? You may be aware of heat, coolness, tightness, pressure, achiness, squeezing sensation, numbness, tingling. Whatever you notice as a body sensation, the sensation may even feel vague, and that's okay. Inviting whatever wants to come into your awareness to be felt in the body with an openness and curiosity. You may find it helpful to breathe as you investigate, breathing more deeply, even inviting yourself to direct your breath to that area of the body. Direct your breath to that felt sense of the emotion in your body. As you continue to investigate, you might notice you begin to recognize more. And then, as this happens, returning to the R of rain and the A, and allow it to be there if possible. With no resistance, continuing to investigate the felt sense in your body. If this becomes too intense for you, notice that as well. Seeing if you can allow that intensity to be present, or choosing to return to your breath as a place that feels safe for you. As you contact this place in your body and allow what is happening, what do you notice? Is it softening, or does it bring more tension and fear? Does it change in any way? Does it intensify? You may ask that vulnerable place, what do you need most right now? What does this place need? See what comes up. May it be love, pure acceptance or forgiveness, to feel heard, to feel embraced. And then entering the N of rain, nurture. As you sense what is needed, what is your natural response? See if you can notice what arises from inside of you. That your heart can offer what's needed in this moment. As if your heart could touch that vulnerable place with love and compassion. If it's easier for you that the love and compassion come from another source, such as a loved one, a spiritual figure, a pet, nature, or some loving presence. Just imagine and feel and sense that love pouring in. You might offer some wise words to yourself, such as, I'm sorry, I love you, it's okay, I'm here and I'm not leaving. You may even choose to place your hand on your heart or your throat or your eyes or your face, or any place that feels nurturing on your body, and use healing touch as a way to nurture yourself. Letting your intention be to let that vulnerable place feel loved. You may imagine light, warmth, or a tender touch coming to that area. As you offer this unconditional love to yourself, see if you can become familiar with the quality of presence that is here, allowing yourself to open to that love, to that compassionate, tender presence, and seeing if you can rest in that awareness. And as we close this meditation for today, allowing this rain practice to inform your day, to see if you can recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture any triggering moments that may arrive for you today. And see if you can rest in that pure love, tenderness, and compassion. And taking a few deep breaths, feeling your feet on the ground, opening your eyes if your eyes were closed, stretching if you feel like you need to stretch, and just taking a moment to reflect on your practice today. All right. All right. With that, I send you all love and health. Have a beautiful day. I will see you. We'll see you all on next Tuesday when we reconvene. Hopefully, have a beautiful day. Check out those. Check out those links. Let me know what you think. Like them, comment them, whatever you want to do.